and so I will commend this bill to the House and we will be supporting it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dr. Pamji Palmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak on the Immigration Amendment Bill number 2 in its third reading. Mr. Speaker, I support the bill. This has been a very interesting debate. Why I say so is because it reveals that the Labour Party doesn't care about migrant workers' exploitation. And many contributions from that side will remain in my mind for a very long time because I'm so surprised. But, Mr. Speaker, I do realize that I will not have time to deal with them all. But if I talk about Mount Roskill is the hub of migrants. In Mount Roskill, I have more people born overseas than people born here in New Zealand. And if I talk about Auckland, according to our latest census, we know that 1 in 4 people are born overseas in Auckland. And the prediction is that by another 15 years, it will be 1 in 2 people born overseas in Auckland. So this is a very much needed bill, especially for New Zealand when it's becoming so diverse. Mr. Speaker, as I said that I will not have enough time to deal with them all. So to move on, I had a trip just last Sunday down from Auckland to Palmerston North to attend and speak at an Indian function. And this was just a day trip, so I was dressed up in my very traditional Indian outfit. And Mr. Speaker, as I arrived at the airport and went through the usual process of checking in and getting my boarding pass, I was constantly offered help. Doors were open for me. People were very kind, very genuine in their greeting. And this continued on the plane too. I got numerous compliments. And I was actually amazed. I never thought that I could be treated so well while just catching a domestic flight. And then it clicked to me that it could be because of this very traditional Indian outfit. And it is quite possible that people at the airport and on the plane, they thought that I'm a tourist or a visitor. And we know that in New Zealand, we are such a friendly nation. This kind of kindness, care, we don't receive anywhere else in the world. So, Mr. Speaker, when these tourists and visitors, they come to New Zealand, they experience this care, this courtesy, they are instantly hooked. And if any of these tourists, they are planning to migrate to another country, New Zealand is number 1 on their list. But then, when these families migrate to New Zealand, they are no longer tourists, they are migrants. And then they are not always treated with that same care and courtesy when they're looking for jobs, but rather they're met with migrant exploitation. So this bill is to ensure that we have fair, firm, and fast processes in place to crack down on migrant workers' exploitation. This bill sends out a clear message that migrant workers have the same employment rights and protection as all other workers. So I'm really grateful to the Minister in charge, Honourable Michael Woodhouse, for bringing this bill, and I'm grateful to the previous committee chaired by David Bennett for the work they have done on this bill, because I understand the importance of this bill. It's important that we have legislation, regulation, and rules in place to assure our migrant workers that when it comes to employment, their rights are the same as all other workers. So this bill is to protect rights of new migrant workers going into work. And this bill is also about strengthening our ability to protect our borders. And this is sending that message as well that this national government is really serious about migrant workers' exploitation, and we want to come down hard on people, those who exploit migrant workers. And it is also about clarifying our existing Immigration Act, and it is also to assure the integrity of our immigration system. So this bill, that's why, extends powers of immigration officers so that they are enabled to be able to check on employers to see that they are complying with the Act. And also also if they have information that there could be some workers, they are being exploited at a work site. And this also will enable them to determine that workers are complying with their work visa condition. And Mr. Speaker, this issue of migrant workers' exploitation is a very serious one. because it takes away the trust from migrant workers from our system. And second, because these employers, those who employ these people at substandard conditions, they are able to provide their services at a much lesser cost than compliant businesses. And this can result in our compliant businesses closing down and numerous people becoming jobless. And we know that the relationship between migration and economy is a linear one. Under this national government, our economy is doing so well, so there is this huge influx of people coming into New Zealand. So it's really important that we protect migrant workers' rights and we also protect our borders. And so this bill will make our immigration system more effective, and also by giving these extended powers to immigration officers to be able to monitor work sites, we are sending this message that we want to make our immigration system a really reliable one. And this issue of exploitation of migrant workers is a real one. And unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, employers, those who exploit migrant workers, are often former migrants themselves. I have come across few cases. One case where this person was offered a job which was fine, it was on minimum wage, he was offered place to live, and when he turned up at work, this place where he was supposed to live was actually a small room in that same commercial building. Where the business was being operated from. There was no separate toilet or bathroom facility. And then he also claimed that he was called into work on his off days. So another case, Mr. Speaker, I heard they also had similar claims that they didn't have any days off. So these people are actually hired on false terms. So these are systemic breaches of our employment standards. And it is really important that we do take care of these people, those who are being exploited. And there are numerous workers, those who are being exploited, which include migrant workers and also international students. And Mr. Speaker, the penalties in the bill reflect the seriousness of this offense. It is really important that we send this message out that it's a serious offense to exploit migrant workers. And this also sent this message that this government is taking tough action to fix this problem which is there. And this problem is a real problem. And this bill also changes the way biometric information is collected. This is to address gaps in identity management capability for faster identification and improve the government's ability to manage risk. So, Mr. Speaker, migration is a social fact. While migration is important to us, it also brings challenges in areas which are addressed in this bill. And the fact is that migrant workers are being exploited, and it is time that we should act on this, because we are becoming a very diverse country day by day. So, Mr. Speaker, I commend the bill to the House and I support the bill. Thank you.
The next call will be a split call. The Honourable